Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth. I'm going to tell you why I'm so dedicated to God and will never waver. I don't have a super dramatic story as to how I became a Christian, but I did become a Christian when I was 8 years old. I was introduced to Jesus at school. But what I do have are testimonies of strength, character building, struggle, and miracle witnessing. I got married to my first husband when I was 19. I thought it was going to be like this super fantastic marriage. I thought I'd found my best friend for life, but it wasn't. Not from the get-go. However, I did own and operate a highly successful daycare center during the time that I was married to him. But it was such a struggle. I was so lonely. I was stuck in a position where night terrors would come every night. The house was in fact haunted. I used to have a job before my ex and I owned the house where I would babysit a couple of older kids for 3 nights while the mom worked out of town. Trust me, the house was haunted. We would hear noises, like we couldn't even sleep upstairs. One girl had her bedroom downstairs and the boy had his bedroom upstairs, and we ended up just sleeping in the hallway because it was just too scary to sleep in the bedrooms upstairs. So yeah, well, one time I found a Wiccan book under the bed in the main bedroom. So it is possible that the mom was Wiccan, but I don't know. She was a great boss though. She paid for all 3 of us to go to, I think it was NSYNC. It was either NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. I can't remember, but yeah, I want to say NSYNC, but yeah, I could be wrong. But anyway, I mean, she paid for us to go. So it was really great, and it was so funny because she forgot to put her shoes on, and so she's there in her slippers. Yeah, it was so funny. But anyway, I had told her that if she was ever going to sell her house to let me know. This house was built in 1929, and it was such a cool house. I just loved it. It was so cool. So we bought it. And, after we divorced, I remember crying out to God for 3 hours. I was just crying non-stop. I wanted relief. I was not crying out to God because of the divorce. That needed to happen. But I just felt so defeated. I felt so unwanted, so unliked. I felt like I was constantly belittled by everyone. So hopefully I'm making sense in telling my story. I don't want this story to go really, really long, so I'm kind of making shortcuts. So if you don't understand, please just reach out to me and ask me and I'll tell you. So I owned my daycare for about 10 years and I had had enough. I had had enough of the marriage. I had enough of my daycare. I knew everything there was about daycare. We were required to have education classes and stuff like that. And most of the time I got away with not going to the classes because I'd already gone to 2 years of child development training, school, college. And so I didn't have to go to the classes. But it was I knew everything about daycare and kids and everything. I really wanted to move on to something else. So I had had enough. So we got divorced. I closed my daycare. This led to many, many trials. But I depended on God. I sold my house. Well, I lost my house. I sold it back to the bank. I sold all of my belongings on eBay, and I knew that my house was going to get foreclosed. I called them and I told the mortgage company, I can pay for January, but then after that, I'm not going to be able to pay anymore because I can't pay for anything. I have zero money. And so I got the house ready. I got it all cleaned out. Everything was ready. I got my stuff out and I found an apartment and moved out. And when I moved to a really, really small town because the rent was cheaper there. So I moved about maybe 20 minutes from where I was, half an hour, something like that. And I sold everything on eBay to pay my bills and, get out of debt because of my ex, I got into debt. Now, because that was all paid off. It's all been paid off now for years, and I've been debt-free ever since. So 10 years of suffering and 16 years of recovery. I met Phil about 17 years ago in the most unbelievable way, and it really worked. It's been working out so well. God has used him, along with wise counselors, to speak truth and love into my life. I, with the help of God and Phil, have been able to build my ministry into what it is today. So this is really like the short version of my testimony. To go into all the details of different jobs and such is not really necessary. The point of my testimony is to encourage you that if you're in a season of hardship like I was, just hang on. It will get better. Even if it seems like it won't get better, it will. I mean, I thought this is the end. Like, I knew God was going to lead me out, but I tell you, I just felt like I was sinking more and more, and I kept reaching out. Oh, I know you got me, but where are you? But he was there. He was there, and he made sure I knew it, but it was hard. It was like trying to hear his voice. There's noisy, and just so hard. But it will get better. I am sure that if you're close enough, and even if you're not, and it's only online, there are lots of people in my ministry and James's ministry that are willing to be your friend, willing to listen, that will support you with your life. And I mean, like, creatively, not harmful, really support you. Thanks for listening. I really do hope my testimony helps you or encourages you. And if not, stay tuned to, James's ministry, because I know he's going to have a lot of people giving their testimony, and maybe somebody else will really encourage you to hang on. But I tell you, God will lead you through whatever you're going through. He'll lead you through. He really will. So thanks for listening, and I'll see you later. Bye.